Hey there. Today we're headed south to the town of Vulcan, Alberta for some very Trekkie sketchbook drawing. Ooh, I'd love a Timmy's iced coffee right now. A serious sketchbooker needs to stay hydrated. It takes about an hour to drive from the south of Calgary to the town of Vulcan, and we've made that drive many, many times. Off in the distance, you can see the Rocky Mountains. Hopefully I'll get there soon for another sketchbook adventure. And we're almost there. Vulcan is a little different than your typical prairie town. Originally, it was named Vulcan after the Roman god of fire, but it's now considered the Star Trek capital of Canada, and you'll soon see why. All right, just grabbing my gear. I actually didn't need to bring a chair. There's 2 picnic tables available, and one of them is the perfect spot for drawing the starship. Look what I found. Every year, Vulcan celebrates Spock Days, and today is the last day for this year. Most of the celebrating was likely yesterday because so far it's pretty quiet around here. Before I start drawing, we'll have a quick peek around this fabulous replica of the USS Enterprise. Street signs are very Trekkie. Okay, time to get set up. Today I brought my largest moleskin watercolor sketchbook. I'm going to draw today and paint later at home. I want to fill 1 page today, and I'll be drawing with just your standard Uniball Vision pen. I'd rather be drawing with my Lamy Safari fountain pen, but because I want to add watercolor later, I need my lines to be waterproof. I usually just get right to it with a pen, but today I'm just lightly outlining the main starship structure with a pencil to get it placed properly on my page. Okay, the Enterprise has landed in my sketchbook, and now to draw the surrounding planetary structures. Could that be some kind of alien spaceship? And after a couple of hours of drawing, I think I've got what I need. I'll add some more details in color back at home in the city. See that building over there? We'll make sure to stop by there before we head home. So again, this is a great spot to draw if you're ever out this way, with lots of interesting elements to this particular location. And if you're here in June, you'll get to enjoy the lilacs in full bloom and the bees busy doing their buzzy bee thing. Okay, who can't resist a cheesy photo op? I know I can't. Well, it's time to grab some lunch. I recommend the veggie burger at the Vulcan Golf Course Clubhouse. After that, we'll have one last look around town. My husband and I actually used to live in Vulcan. We were there for about 2 years. Back then, I was mostly painting, but I also did some embroidery. And I love the Latinum Looney store because they have one of those DMC embroidery floss towers, and it kept me well stocked with any color of thread I needed. Hey, those streetlight fixtures look very familiar. In and around the main streets of Vulcan, you'll find lots of Star Trek themed oddities. I love a good hardware store, especially old ones like the Home Hardware in Vulcan. And years back when we lived here, we stood across from the Home Hardware to watch the annual Spock Days parade. I kept the audio clip on so you can hear the Klingon band play. A friendly and colorful cosplay of characters. Quite a few of the actors from the Star Trek franchise have visited the town of Vulcan, and the town has hosted numerous Star Trek alumni. Leonard Nimoy himself came to Vulcan in April of 2010 to participate in the unveiling of this bronze bust of Spock. Holy cow, he has huge hands. And if you're like me, a sketchbooker who loves to thrift, I highly recommend you go to Rags to Riches. More of those spacey street signs. And how did I not know this when we lived here? But you can get a Spock cancellation stamp stamped onto your postcards and letters before mailing them, right here at the post office. Not every mural in town is Star Trek themed, but the local cannabis shop is into the Star Trek spirit. Support local businesses. And finally, our last stop, the Vulcan Tourism and Trek Center. You can't miss it, and if you're into the world of all things Star Trek, you're in for a pleasant surprise. Let's go inside. The Trek Center is bursting with Star Trek memorabilia, collectibles, and even props from the series. And the best part is there's a gift shop where you can purchase just about anything Star Trek themed. Buttons, patches, keychains, pens, magnets, t-shirts, and stickers. Did someone say stickers? I'll pick out a couple for my sketchbook page. There were so many good ones, I had a hard time choosing. So as you can see, if you're a Trekkie and you're anywhere near the prairie town of Vulcan, Alberta, you'll definitely want to pay a visit and see it all for yourself. it's time to head back to the city. We sure picked a beautiful day for a sketchbook outing. Those clouds sure look like the kind I used to see in those old Western movies when I was a little kid. Gosh, those mountains are gorgeous. I definitely would like to take my sketchbook sometime very soon and perhaps pay a visit to Canmore or Banff. I always love it when we're coming up from the south into the southern city limits of Calgary and we come over the crest of the hill on the highway, and there in the distance is a really great view of the city of Calgary. All right, back to my sketchbook. I start by adding lots and lots of little details, still using my Uniball pen. And then comes the color. Still not fully confident using watercolors, but I figure there's only one way to get there, and that's with patience and practice. A lot of practice. And once I'm done painting, I'll add a bit of colored pencil here and there. I'm not sure if it's our dry weather in Calgary or that Prismacolor pencils are lousy, but drats, I really don't like it when that happens. I do love these white Jelly Roll pens though. I'm going to add some texture to the sky with one. At first I had a bit of trepidation about putting the stickers on my drawing, but I went ahead anyway. Then I went a little bit overboard, but it's all in good fun, and that's what sketchbooks are all about for me. And voila, I'm all done. It really was a fun day for me revisiting Vulcan in my sketchbook. Thanks so much for coming along and for watching. Feel free to like or subscribe, and if you have any comments or questions, I'd be happy to answer if I can. Thanks so much. Live long and prosper.